Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Haefner. Welcome to Sport Psych in a Minute, your weekly resource for insights and tips into the psychological side of equestrian sport. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about the underlying principles of the work that my son Justin and I are doing with horses and riders. The first week, we talked about safety and security, and we talked about a secure base as a foundation, both for horse and for rider, as a starting place for learning. Then, last week we talked about complexity. We talked about the beautiful and profound complexity of the rider, the horse, and the rider and horse in their interaction with one another. And while there are challenges that arise out of that level of complexity, we talked about some of the positive aspects of that complexity and the ways that we can get that working for us. The final principle I want to share with you is one we'll talk about today, that's fundamental respect. And when I say respect, I mean respect not just for the horse, but also respect for the rider. Too many times I read nightmare stories about times in which riders have been humiliated, verbally abused, and that a lot of times it's easy enough to write that off as that's the way these trainers are, except that many times that level of disrespect in that relationship leads to deep and profound challenges for the rider. Same thing for the horse. Over the years, we see a shift and a change, a positive one from my perspective, where we see less and less of reliance on force in terms of engaging with the horse, and in less reliance on making a horse do something, less reliance on the ideas of physical dominance. And we see more and more about relationship, more and more about cooperation in the process of training and also in the process of competition. When Justin and I are working with a rider and we're working with a horse, this is essential for us, that the horses are in a position where they're not feeling or experiencing the kind of coercion that creates and drives fear and fear responses in the horse, and that within our riders we create a space where they are free to be themselves and that they can expect to be treated with respect and dignity in our work together. I think one of the things that I would like to leave you with today, I've done several interviews, and a lot of times and the one I'm remembering now is interviews I've done with Patrick King and Patrick King Horsemanship. And Patrick always likes to ask you at the end of an interview, what is the one kind of message that you want, or one most important thing that you want to share with people. And I think I always go back to this really simple, but I think really helpful idea, which I'd like to leave for everyone, whether you are a trainer in training horses, whether you are a trainer instructor that's working with riders and helping them develop, whether you are a rider, a stablemate, family, a friend of someone who rides. And that is the simple admonition to be kind. If we start with kindness, and I think we're in a much better position to move forward, accomplish good, and progress in what we're doing. I'm Dr. Paul Haefner. This has been Sport Psych in a Minute. I look forward to seeing you next week.